Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. It's Ordinary Russian. My name is Ksenia, and I am an ordinary Russian living far away from Moscow. And here on this channel, I try to talk about the life of average Russians living in rural areas, especially in villages. And in today's video, I wanted to talk more about abandoned houses in Russian villages. But before we do that, I wanted to respond to all of the comments that I received. And while I do that, you will be watching the footage from the city where I live in. So please keep that in mind. So English is not my first foreign language, it's my second foreign language. And as a kid, I went to a school, a gymnasium, which is, I don't know how to say it in English, mit erweitertem Fremdsprachenunterricht. So I had German 6 times a week. I think at first it was 4 times a week or 5 times a week since the first grade. So since 6 years old, I started learning German. And only in 5th grade, which is middle school, we got English added to the curriculum. So we had English 2 hours a week as well. So sophomore, junior, senior year, I would have 8 hours of foreign languages. However, English wasn't the main focus, and German was, so we learned a lot about Germany, culture, holidays, political system, geography, literature, just a lot overall. And we had exams also every semester, but since 5th grade till I think 9th grade, we had a test run of how we read. So the head German teacher would be listening to us read German texts, so a lot of our teachers put time and effort into teaching us how to pronounce words as close to natives as possible. So I think that when I started learning English by myself, this is something that helped me out a lot. And I learned English mostly by watching TV series, movies, and just random YouTube videos, where most of the actors in those movies and TV series were Americans. So, of course, hearing the same words being pronounced over and over and over again with American accent, I kind of got the idea of how to pronounce them. So, here's that. So, I know English more on intuitive level and not just constantly learning the grammar or the words and writing them down. No, that's not something that happened to me. And my English actually got better over years. So, let's go back to the abandoned houses. I decided to think about it, like, why? What are the reasons? And I found 3. I'm gonna give you a little bit of historical context. So, before 1991, Russia was part of a bigger country, Soviet Union. And in Soviet Union, because it was a socialist state, people did not own their land. They did not own their houses or apartments. They were registered there, sure, and in some cases, most cases, those plots of land, houses, and apartments would be passed down for generations to other generations, and sometimes it wouldn't happen. So I'm gonna give you an example of the apartment that I'm currently living in with my husband. He is 4th generation living in this apartment. His great-grandfather got it, and then his grandfather raised his mother here, and then his mother raised him here, and now we are the ones to occupy this place. Privatization started in 1991 when Soviet Union collapsed, ceased to exist, whatever. Many new countries appeared on the map, all of them, most of them, capitalist, Russia included, and as a result of that collapse and the change, economic crisis followed, which caused a massive wave of migration out of Russia. I'm talking millions of people abandoned their apartments and houses and left in search of a better life. As a result of people leaving their houses, abandoning them, they never privatized them, so they're still state property. And they continue to stand abandoned because those people left. They built their lives elsewhere. They raise their children elsewhere, and those children are already adults and they also have their own lives and they build their lives somewhere else. So, of course, nobody really cares that much about those houses and apartments left behind. Mostly houses. So, here's the first reason for you. And the second reason is also similar to the first one. Again, plots of land, houses, apartments, they were all state property. And then the 90s hit in the early 2000s, and just picture this situation. So a family lives, parents, kids who are off age, living in some village in Siberia, let's say that. And again, economic situation is terrible. But the point is that those kids would move and the parents would be left behind in those villages. And since privatization still costs money, not everyone privatized their property. Still, some people still live on property which belongs to the state. And imagine those parents passed away for whatever reason. And their kids are far away in some cities, again, build a life for themselves, maybe purchased a new apartment, maybe they got registered there, so they're not registered at the address in that village. The only ones registered there are parents, and they passed away. So this is the question of inheritance, because those kids are not registered in that apartment anymore. I don't know the details of the process of inheritance of that type of property as much as I know you should be registered at that place. Maybe I'm wrong here, but the point is that those kids are not going to return back to those villages respectfully, and those houses will continue to stand abandoned. Again, they're still not privatized, which means that this is still state property which you cannot sell or rent out to somebody else. And because of that, because of the economic crises and different complications in Russia's history, early Russia's history, just government overall had more complicated problems to solve than some abandoned houses and villages, okay? Because you needed to stabilize the country and give people at least some sort of understanding of their future. Those houses still stand abandoned today, overgrown, trees, bushes, you can barely see those houses from the street because the lawn is so overgrown. And there is a way for you to purchase a state property, but it's a bureaucratic hell. It will take you years and wait. Because first you need to write an application to your local administration saying that, oh, I want to buy this property. Then the local administration goes to court and they file a wish of sorts for them to get that house and a plot of land on the list as the local administration's property. So just for clarification, my great-grandfather's house is just like all of those abandoned houses in our village. And it exists in reality. You can see that house when you walk down the street. You can see it from the space and all of those satellite images. But if you turn off the satellite imagery on the map, then it will show you nothing. So, in reality, that house stands. Officially, it doesn't exist. Okay? So, this is the reason why local administration goes to court to get that house, that piece of land measured and then put on balance as a piece of land. And only later, the region administration, not the local administration, not the village administration, not the district administration, but region administration, has an auction where they are selling those unneeded government property, state property, if you will. That's where we are with the non-privatized pieces of land and houses. And the next reason is actually more interesting because some of those abandoned houses are private property. Maybe at some point some people lived there and then they passed away and their kids or grandkids inherited that plot of land and that house, but they're living far away. Again, they might be living in a different city. They might be living in a different part of Russia entirely. So, for example, that house is on European part of Russia, but the kids live in the Far East. An interesting thing is that those houses look exactly the same as the state-owned. And the fact that they're asking sometimes a substantial amount of money for that plot of land is just, it's weird to me. It's strange. Because for the same amount of money, you can purchase something better in the same village, maybe even on the same street. I've heard our government officials talking about this issue, about the abandoned houses in villages. Some propose to push the owners a little bit to take care of their property. I don't know if they're gonna go through with that project or not, but people might be dissatisfied with that. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. This is everything that I have for you today. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about this? Do you have an insane amount of abandoned houses in your country or where you live in? Please give me a like, subscribe, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.